No Escape was released by Imagic on the Atari 2600 in 1983. You control a guy named Jason who is imprisoned in a temple called Aphrodite and is surrounded by these deadly things called Furies that try to burn your ass. Your goal is to clear the screen by throwing stones at the ceiling and then letting the bricks that fall crush the Furies. Once all the Furies are gone, you'll move on to the next level, or temple to be precise. Interestingly, you can't hurt the Furies with the stones that you throw. If you hit one directly, it'll multiply. So you have to throw your stone away from these guys, but still try to time it so that the bricks that fall will hit them on the way down. You do have some semblance of control, though. It's not just throwing the stones away from the Furies and then praying they'll land on them on the way down. You can put a curve into the rocks with the joystick, so you can use it to avoid the Furies and position the stone accordingly to hopefully time the brick drop to collide with some Furies. But it's mostly about anticipation and timing it so that the brick drops where you expect the Furies to end up. You have to keep in mind, though, that as you're controlling the rock, you're also controlling Jason, so keep your priorities of survival in order. Speaking of survival, you've got a health meter that the game refers to as a lifeline. The game picks up difficulty as you advance to the next temple. The Furies will pick up speed, their patterns change, and they'll start sending fireballs of their own at you. The sprites of the enemies change every level too, so you get some variety in terms of visuals, and believe it or not, even in sound, as there is a different tune playing in the background from wave to wave, although the soundtrack is very basic. The rhythmic loops are very fitting and hypnotic. And how often do you get any kind of variety when it comes to the soundtracks of 2600 games? More often than not, you don't even get any music at all. There isn't much in the way of gameplay variations. The only thing that the difficulty switch does is allow you to set whether you gain extra lives at the end of every stage no matter what, or if you complete the stage without taking any hits. The game itself is just as difficult no matter what. It just alters how generous the game is with extra lives. Aside from that, the only other thing you could do is a 2-player mode. But unfortunately, it's an alternating mode, which is a shame, because having this game with a co-op mode would have been cool, especially since you could, in theory, turn on each other and drop bricks on your opponent, although that would admittedly be very difficult to pull off intentionally. But blasting your opponent's bricks and ruining their chances at a Fury kill would have been a cool dynamic. But as intriguing as all this is, at the end of the day, the game is interesting enough the way that it is. In 1983, there were 1.5 million games borrowing from the Space Invaders format. And although this certainly was as well, it's still very unique and stands out on its own, despite being so simple in concept. And despite all that, No Escape doesn't get anywhere near the attention that it deserves. Perhaps this is due to the plethora of shooters at the time, or maybe the video game crash that was about to happen, or maybe a combination of the two. It just got lost in the shuffle. But No Escape is definitely one of those more obscure hidden gem type games.